You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5.
We are less than a week away to the start of the new school year. We have team coverage this morning, what Manatee County is doing to combat the school bus driver shortage.
Plus, flooding has shut down a popular Sarasota County park. We'll have the update on that condition.
And red tides, the talk of the Suncoast, where it's been seen most now. Good Morning Suncoast begins right now. Good morning, Tuesday, August 7th. Hello, early risers. Glad you're with us. I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Stephanie Webb. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. Somebody that is also waking up with us today, Josh Stone, who's in for John Scalzi this week. Josh.
All right, thanks so much, Stephanie and Ray. Our temperatures right now around the Suncoast here in Sarasota, Bradenton, and Venice in the upper 70s. Not much cloud cover at this time. And basically our forecast is very similar to what we're going to have, or from what we had yesterday, I should say, as we have this easterly wind component. So with the heating of the day, the storms will start to trigger in the inland areas, and then the upper level steering winds out of the east will blow those storms close to the coast. Here's an interesting graphic. Check this out for the red tide status, and it's not looking so great, especially down here in Gasparilla Island around Boca Grande. Double flag, and it's red, so that's pretty severe. Lido Key, we have a medium or low issue here with the smell of the dead fish, but there's also been reports here on the northern end of Anna Maria Island of some dead fish washing up on shore there as well. Of course, we'll keep you posted, and now let's go back to Ray and Stephanie.
All right, thank you, Josh. Checking the roads right now. First off, you'll see in Manatee County, northbound 301, some congestion already today as you head past 70 and head toward downtown Bradenton. Otherwise, clear in Manatee County. Farther south, we'll check that now and see a little buildup there way out on Siesta Key, southbound. Not sure what's going out there. Otherwise clear. And then our final map to the south will show us nothing to speak of so far at 5:02 on your Tuesday morning.
All right, this morning we begin with our team coverage. We are less than a week away to the start of the new school year.
Our Jackie Kelly will tell us about the teacher shortage in Sarasota County. But first, Marla Spence has the story of a bus driver shortage in Manatee County. We'll start with Marla. Go ahead.
Good morning, guys. I'm live here at the Transportation Department in Manatee County. Officials here tell us although salaries has gone up for bus drivers, the county is still facing a shortage. Now, salaries were at $12.58, and now the school district has upped their salaries to $13.93 for bus drivers. Jason Harris, who's the director of transportation for Manatee County School District, tells us the new pay raises were implemented after Manatee County taxpayers voted a yes for the school tax referendum, which allowed money to go towards salary pay for teachers and bus drivers. He says although the new pay rate makes the county more competitive with neighboring districts like Sarasota and Pinellas County, he says the school district is still facing some competition that may make it hard to reel in new bus drivers.
But it particularly hits home hard for us because we're competing with not only the neighboring school districts, but some of your bigger companies like your Amazon and your UPS and your FedEx. So when you have a CDL, that becomes the playing field in which you have to navigate.
Right now, the school district is looking to hire about 20 new bus drivers to help transport close to 16,000 students a day. Coming up at 5:30, well, 6 o'clock rather, we're going to be telling you about some precaution and safety measures that the school district is taking this year when it comes to bus drivers and also their new buses. Reporting live in Manatee County, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you so much, Marla. To make sure that your kids are up to date on their shots, the health department's clinics are staying open a little later this week. The Sarasota Immunization Clinic on Ringling Boulevard, they're going to be open until 7:30 tomorrow night and then 7 o'clock on Thursday and Friday nights. For more information, just head online to mysuncoast.com.
Security at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Broward County will not include metal detectors as once promised. And we're learning more now from the man who confessed to that school massacre there earlier this year. Reporter Vanessa Medina has our story.
Nicholas Cruz was lonely, depressed, and very troubled, according to transcripts released by the state attorney's office during his interrogation. He says voices in his head would tell him to do bad things. Detective, you're talking about demons. What are the demons? Cruz, the voices. Tell me about them. What are the voices about? Cruz, it's another voice, the evil side. Detective, okay, how long has that voice been going on? Cruz, years. He tells the detective he listens to the voices, which at times he calls the demon, because he was lonely, and listening to the voices was better than being alone. Detective, and what does the voice say to you? What does it tell you to do? Cruz, burn, kill, destroy.
For him killing 17 people, 17 of my friends, 17 of my classmates and teachers, it's not fair. I feel like that he should stay in prison, rot in prison, and be put into general population.
Mei Ling Ho Xing will be a senior at MSD, and she just wants to get this last year, she says, over with.
It's still fresh to me because every single day I am identified as an MSD student and the trauma that I went through. So there's days where I'm still crying. There's still times where I do suffer from PTSD.
What makes matters worse for her, a broken promise. There will be no metal detectors at MSD when school starts. According to this letter sent to all students, the district will instead have a workshop to discuss it August 14th.
They talked to the students, they talked to the parents of my schools, and we all agreed, most of us agreed that this was the right thing to do. So our system has failed us in a way that we now have to make sure our schools are bulletproof.
This as these transcripts shed light on just how dark Cruz's thoughts were. Here he says, I want to die. At the end, you're nothing but worthless. It goes on to even darker thoughts.
Now, much of the transcript is edited due to state law and the fact that the case is not yet resolved.
Back here on the Suncoast, flooding has shut down a popular Sarasota County park. Myakka River Park in Venice is closed now until further notice due to the flooding in the area. Just 2 months ago, back in June, flooding associated with the subtropical storm Alberto shut down some areas of the park. Now the floodwaters now cover most of the path where people would usually walk, run, or bike in that area.
I've never seen them close the gate like that. So it must have been, the flooding must be very bad.
We're always disappointed to come up here and find it flooded, which doesn't happen all that often, but we need the rain and we love living in nature, so we're patient with it. And we always know that we can go 4 miles that way and hit the Legacy Trail.
All right. Sarasota County says the park will remain closed until it's safe again, and that could take a few more weeks. We'll have more online at mysuncoast.com.
So the big talk, where's the red tide now? We're getting more reports of dead fish in Manatee County this time. All the symptoms we had in Sarasota County have since moved north. That includes the dead fish, the foul odor, and the dark, murky water. The latest update from Moat Marine shows Manatee County and Coquina beaches are now fighting the effects of red tide.
It definitely went from a couple fish to a massive amount of fish. It was overpowering. It almost got me back in the car.
Now, the red tide has killed tons of fish the past week on the Suncoast. And this year has been very bad, especially for manatees as well. Look at this, a Venice police officer removed a dead manatee from the water over the weekend. It'll now be taken to the state for biology testing for the necropsy. Police are asking all boaters to be more cautious right now due to red tide. Manatees and other marine life may be closer to the surface attempting to breathe.
And of course, we've received many of your questions about red tide, where it comes from, some of the health concerns, and much more. All you have to do is head online to mysuncoast.com for the answers to some of the most common questions asked and much more. Happening today, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office and the Boys and Girls Club will be holding their National Night Out. The annual Crime Prevention Night will take place from 6 until 9 at the Sheriff's Office in Bradenton. It is free and it is open to the public.
Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, caught on camera, the Coast Guard rescued 10 people from a disabled boat near the Bahamas.
And coming up, if you love Nutella, we might just have the dream job for you. We're going to tell you about that a little later in the half hour, but first.
It is 5:09. Here's a peek outside our window. Dark out there so far, but what happens next? Here's the answer from Josh Stone.
Yeah, the sun's actually going to rise and we'll have light. How about that? Anyway, we're looking at our radar. Not much on it right now, but that could change later on this afternoon. I have all the details coming up in a few minutes. Stay with us.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
How do you open tough jar lids? Do you try this one? Or this one? Or how about this one?
Honey?
This is the future. Shouldn't there be a robot for this by now? There is. Introducing RoboTwist, the robotic jar opener that easily twists off even the toughest lids. Just set it down, press the button, and watch it work. First, the RoboStrong vise locks down tight. Then the powerful twisting action unscrews the lid. RoboTwist is yours for the special introductory price of just $19.99. That's right, the robotic jar opener that easily twists off even the toughest lids, all for just $19.99. Whether the jar is big or small, RoboTwist can open them all. Supplies are limited, so don't delay. Here's how to get yours today.
Call 1-800-347-1073. That's 1-800-347-1073. Or order online at buyrobotwist.com.
According to Golf Digest, 2 of the nation's top golf resorts are on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, the Auburn Opelika Marriott at Grand National, and the Renaissance Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa in Birmingham. Plus, the Marriott at Grand National was recognized as Hotel of the Year by Marriott International. Experience luxury and world-class golf Southern style. Visit RTJ Golf/resorts or call 800-949-4444 to book your trip to the trail.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
This is the story of a boy who was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Okay, welcome back and happy Tuesday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Josh Stone in for John Scalzi today. And we're looking at our radar right now, and for the most part it's pretty quiet. We have some showers and some storms out here in the Gulf of Mexico. And of course these are over open waters, so nothing really affecting the Suncoast at this time. And that will change though this afternoon. Basically our forecast today is just like yesterday. The heating of the day, the sea breeze convergence will get some storms going, and then they'll track towards the coast because we have more of an easterly wind component around an area of high pressure that's to our north and east. But the sea breeze probably won't go in that far, just like yesterday, and the convergence will be very close to the coastline. Right now, our radar remains very quiet. 77 degrees right now. We have, for the most part, pretty clear skies. Humidity at 94%, easterly wind about 6 miles per hour. If you're traveling out of the Sarasota-Bradenton International Airport, maybe going to Denver, Colorado, might run into some issues there with some potential delays because they're under a slight risk for severe weather today. And the Midwest, just general thunderstorms for us, not much of a severe threat at all, just your regular afternoon Florida summertime thunderstorms. Increasing clouds today with the heating of the day, and then afternoon storms that we talked about. And it looks like there's going to be a change later this week with a wind shift. The reason why we won't have widespread storms today is because we have dry air that's still above us that's going to kind of hold those storms at bay. A couple of areas, actually 3 areas of high pressure systems, but this is the one here to the north and east of Florida, continues to bring that northeasterly wind around it. And that's why when the sea breeze comes in off the Gulf of Mexico this afternoon, it won't be able to fight this area of high pressure because that's going to be the dominant feature. So the easterly winds will make that convergence closer to the coast, and those storms will start to fire up. You'll see this on the Futurecast. What happens, we're pretty quiet in the morning hours, and then by later on this afternoon, around 5 in the afternoon, in a very technical meteorology term, we call this showtime. That's when the storms start to fire up. We're in hurricane season, obviously. Now we're in the month of August. Things start to ramp up in August, and September 10th is the peak of the season, but right now, looks pretty quiet out there. Nothing really to show you here in the tropics, which is good news. The northern Atlantic, Caribbean, and Gulf of Mexico. Taking the boat out today, pinch your nose because of the red tide, obviously, but it looks like a pretty good boating forecast. Easterly wind at 10 knots, becoming west in the afternoon, about 5 knots. Just watch out for those lightning strikes as those storms start to develop and push offshore later this afternoon or early this evening. Seas 1 to 2 feet with a light chop in the bays. 91 at the beach today, water at 87, increasing clouds throughout the day. As far as our high today, we're going to top out at 93, just like yesterday. Actually, our official high yesterday was 94. And our forecast changes a little bit as we go through. This is not the right graphic, another malfunction with technology here. But what happens is we're going to have a couple of days, these afternoon storms, and the wind shifts. I'm going to stand in front of this because this is the wrong forecast. But the wind shifts, instead of coming out of the east, that high pressure to the northeast of us right now slips south, and then we'll have that return flow around it coming up from the southwest and more of a westerly wind component. So those storms, just like last week, early last week, when we had those storms that started in the morning hours along the coast, and then more heavier storms start to develop inland as that sea breeze convergence takes place further inland. That's going to be the case as we get into the latter part of this work week, into the weekend, and into early next week. Stephanie?
All right, thank you so much, Josh. Let's take a look outside and check out your traffic this morning. So far, pretty quiet in Manatee County. No real hot spots in that area. Everything is running pretty smoothly. A little bit farther south into Sarasota County, you're seeing a little bit of congestion right there on Clark Road as you're heading out toward the beaches, but other than that, not too much going on. If you go into South County, those roads are not looking too bad. 75 and 41 are running pretty clear so far this morning. It is 5:17, and that is your first alert traffic. Well, for hours, they drifted out on the ocean after their boat ran out of gas. Walter Morris has the story of a dramatic Coast Guard rescue near the Bahamas yesterday.
7 News cameras rolling during an emotional reunion in Miami Beach. A group of boaters back on solid ground after being saved at sea.
Relieved on back on soil.
It's good. I know, they're relaxed.
The group of family and friends leaving Miami for the Bahamas on this 28-foot Regal Sunday morning around 8 a.m. But the trip taking a troubling turn. The boat running out of gas here about 9 miles off the coast of Bimini.
We were so close to see Bimini when we ran out of fuel. We saw it, we were straight up close to it.
10 people on board, and despite being so close to shore, the boaters sat like sitting ducks for hours.
Kind of, we were nervous. No one was answering through a radio, and we had 3 radios.
So we had stayed there for 4.5 hours without any boats to help us.
But luckily, the U.S. Coast Guard answering the call for help, racing to the rescue. The Coast Guard snapping these pictures of the stranded vessel.
Oh, it was really scary. First when you could see Bimini, it wasn't that scary, but then when we were adrift, we couldn't see anything. I mean, we didn't know if anyone was coming or not. 8 of the passengers hitching a ride back to Miami Beach on this cutter. The other 2 tagging along as the boat was towed here to Fort Lauderdale. Skyforce HD overhead the 15th Street Marina after it arrived. We go all the time, once a month. And we checked the weather, said it was good, but nature, the weather, there was 2 storms, so we had to tie up the jet ski, and that made the boat waste more fuel.
And while these boaters breathe a sigh of relief, they still have questions about why officials in the Bahamas weren't quick to answer their call for help.
No one would answer, so we even had to call all the way here to the U.S. Coast Guard, which they thankfully answered, and they came to us for help. I'm glad everyone's okay and we made it home safe.
The weather can take a sharp turn sometimes.
Yeah, it really can, especially out on those waters. All right, still to come on Good Morning Suncoast. Ever tried to ask Amazon's Alexa a question and it didn't have the answer? Well, we're going to tell you about a new feature coming to the smart device.
And next half hour, a teacher shortage in Sarasota County could affect curriculum. We'll continue our team coverage, but first, here's a peek at the largest city in the country, New York City. Across the Brooklyn Bridge there, 79 degrees there right now. They'll see a high of 89 degrees, relatively cool compared to our 93. We'll have more of Josh's forecast and more news coming up on Good Morning Suncoast.
Another pair of satisfied emotions. Looks to me like elation and maybe some amazement. It's part of the Honda Summer Spectacular Event experience. You could say satisfaction comes standard here, just like the Honda Accord comes standard with a luxurious, roomy interior. All at the Honda Summer Spectacular Event.
We see it all the time.
Visit your local Honda dealer and test drive the Honda Accord, 2018's North American Car of the Year.
We've been fighting the war on drugs for a long time. We answer the phone 24/7, 365 days a year. On a busy night, we answer hundreds of calls. This war on drugs needs our intervention.
Since 2014, Addiction Hope and Helpline has helped people struggling with drugs and alcohol.
When the phone rings, we help people when they need it the most. When we get a caller into treatment, it feels right. It feels good. It's a blessing.
If you're struggling, drinking, using, and need to get clean, don't suffer alone in silence. Call Addiction Hope and Helpline.
Our people understand, and many are also in recovery. Call for support and strength. You can call for someone who can't or isn't willing. It's an act of love. Together we can help you beat this thing and erase addiction from your vocabulary once and for all.
Call 800-871-1644. 800-871-1644.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
All right, here's a dream job alert for you. But first, let's take a look outside, check out a little tower cam this morning. Looking good out there so far.
Looks like a computer-generated city there. It's so
right.
Beautiful. Little Lincoln logs out there, whatever.
Yes, looks good. All right, you know what else looks good?
What?
This job I have to tell you about. Do you love chocolate? Do you also want to get paid to eat it? Well, if you answered yes to those questions, we have got the job for you. The Ferrero Company, they're the ones that make Nutella. They're looking to hire some taste testers. They're hiring 60 part-time sensory judges. I like that title, to try out their products. The best part, no experience required. I think you just have to have a mouth and a stomach, and you are paid. The only catch, though, you do have to relocate to the company's headquarters in Italy, but I'm pretty sure that sounds like a job perk also.
That's not bad either.
I know, I'm like,
Yeah.
I can eat chocolate and I have to live in Italy. That's a bummer.
Did you apply yet?
I'm going to right now. Our Snapchat filter is creating body issues, and this is an interesting one. A Michigan man has created an Amish Uber.
The stories in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, a move overseas that might put an end to that tangle of mobile phone chargers everywhere.
Please, regulators in the EU are considering pushing manufacturers, including Apple, Samsung, and Nokia, for a universal charger. Officials cite the more than 51,000 tons of discarded chargers every year. Amazon's Alexa is reportedly about to get a whole lot smarter.
The website TechCrunch is reporting a new feature is coming to the device called Answer Update. Apparently, it'll enable Alexa to answer you at a later time if it doesn't know the answer to your question right away. A man in Michigan is literally putting more horsepower into ride sharing.
Yeah, Amish resident Timothy Hostetler calls his horse and buggy Amish Uber, although he's not actually affiliated with Uber since he doesn't have a cell phone. But you have to hail his ride in the street. Each one's only $5. Good deal.
That's a good Uber. Those are your Tech Bites.
Tech Bites, sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
The first person to survive Alzheimer's disease is out there. And the Alzheimer's Association is going to make it happen by funding scientific breakthroughs, advancing public policy, and providing local support to those living with the disease and their caregivers. But we won't get there without you. Join the fight with the Alzheimer's Association.
Okay, we need to get all your school supplies today.
School, grade, done.
Done.
Hit the snooze button and get low prices on school supplies all summer long. Like these for only $1 or less at Office Depot Office Max.
For I can't help falling in love with you.
Give extra, get extra.
From the moment she walked in the door, we stopped having to go to the pharmacy. Certain prescriptions, my health plan or the pharmacy wasn't even able to get here. And hospice provided them, and all we had to do was call up, and the next thing they know, there was another, a delivery.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
We believe in patriotism. We believe in our nation's youth. We believe veterans earn their benefits through their service to our nation. We believe in a strong national security. We believe in our country. For 100 years, veterans have been impacting our nation through the American Legion, and we believe it makes a difference. If you believe, learn more at legion.org/webelieve.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it
You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5:30.
Team covers this morning in our special Back to School Week. We're going to tell you how the teacher shortage in Sarasota County could affect your kids this year.
Florida's primary, 3 weeks from today, will update early voting across the Sunshine State.
And Florida might not be the best state to retire in, why more people might be headed up north. We'll tell you why. We have those stories and more right now on Good Morning Suncoast. And good morning to you. It is 5:29 on this Tuesday morning. I'm Stephanie Webb.
I'm Ray Collins. John Scalzi is off this week. Josh Stone has been kind enough to fill in. And here he is, folks, with the 5:30 update.
All right, thanks so much, Ray and Stephanie. Our current temperature outside is 77 degrees with mostly clear skies. Dew point is 75, humidity at 94%. Not much of an easterly wind, but that's going to be the case today. Just like yesterday, that easterly wind component, it's going to be light, but the upper level steering winds are coming out of the east, which means with the heating of the day, those storms will start to ignite in the afternoon and then drift towards the coast. Sea breeze convergence probably going to be pretty close to the coast as well. But right now our radar is very quiet. Nothing to show you here for the Suncoast at this time. The day planner looks like this. Going to be another warm one as we top out in the low 90s and increasing clouds as we go through the afternoon and those showers and storms start to get going later on today. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Josh. Let's take a look outside and check out your first alert traffic out there. So far in Manatee County, those roads are still running pretty decent at this hour. Not too much going on in that area. And then in Sarasota County, those roads are looking pretty good. You can see Clark Road right there is just a little bit slow this morning as you're headed out toward the beach, but other than that, it's all pretty quiet in Sarasota. A little bit farther south, 75 and 41, both of those are running pretty clear at this hour as well. 5:31, that is first alert traffic. Well, this morning we begin with team coverage. It is our back to school week because we are less than a week away from the start of the new school year.
This morning we have Marla Spence live out in Manatee County talking about the bus driver shortages. But first, Jackie Kelly, who talked with the district's executive director of human resources and tells us why they are still seeing teacher vacancies with only a week away. Jackie.
Well, good morning, guys. Sarasota County School District says that although they've hired about 140 teachers so far this summer, they still have about 95 vacancies left. Now, they say it's not uncommon for them to see these vacancies because a lot of people do retire. They say that they aren't seeing as many applicants as in years past because less students are going to college to become teachers. Now, one reason that could be is because of the pay, which in Sarasota County, the starting salary for someone with a bachelor's degree is $44,300.
Unfortunately, our critical shortage areas, math and science. They're also finding jobs maybe higher paying in the private industry. So we're competing with everyone on tech jobs, math jobs, science jobs.
Now, about 40 teachers are still going through that hiring process. So starting next week, they'll start as subs. And then once they are approved, they'll become the full-time teachers in those classrooms that they were subbing. Reporting live in Sarasota, Jackie Kelly, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you so much, Jackie. And with school back in effect next week, so are those school zones. A reminder to slow down. Now, the morning school zones go into effect around 7 a.m. and they run as late as 9:30 in the morning in a few spots. And then afternoon school zones start up around 2:45, and some of those run as late as 4:30 in some spots. So make sure you keep aware and be smart and slow down in those school zones.
Happening now, Sarasota police are in the final days of collecting school supplies before school starts next week. They call it Pack the Patrol Car. You can stop by the police station near Payne Park and drop off donations in a police cruiser like that one. It's going on until Friday. Stop by and drop off donations from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Last year, they collected more than 2,000 school supplies. They're looking for all grade levels, from pens and pencils to backpacks. For a full list of suggestions, go to our website, mysuncoast.com.
As wildfires continue to burn across California, one elementary school isn't safe to open for the new school year just yet. Now the district staff is looking for a new building for the start of the school year. For their district school, it's supposed to start to open on August 15th. Staff members are hoping that they can find a new location for the kids between now and then. They say they're going to do everything they can to make sure that the students will be able to continue their education.
We have another building with some classrooms that has minor fire damage and definitely roof damage, but it's not too bad. We did lose both our playgrounds and several sheds, and then our biggest building loss was our maintenance shop.
Now, the principal there says they're going to be providing special services to help students and parents who were also affected by those fires.
Cleanup is underway in Pittsburgh after a freight train derailment on Sunday afternoon. Several Norfolk Southern freight cars fell off the tracks, and after seeing the aftermath, the mayor of Pittsburgh says he's surprised nobody was injured.
There's going to be time to look at the incident itself right now. We're blessed. We dodged a bullet on this one. This could have been a catastrophe. Instead, we don't even have an injury, and we just want to make sure that over the next 48 hours we continue to have no injuries.
Commuter rail service was free on Monday to help expedite things for commuters who have to deal with the delays brought on by Sunday's derailment.
And looking ahead to the weekend, admission to Warm Mineral Springs Park in Northport is free this Saturday for Sarasota County residents. The park is open from 9 in the morning until 5 in the evening. All you have to do is just bring proof of your residency.
Happening tonight, the Sarasota Solar United Neighbors Florida Solar Co-op. They're offering a final information session to county residents. It'll take place at the Gulfgate Library at 6 o'clock. The previous two sessions of these have been filled to capacity. 250,000 Floridians have already voted in this month's primary election 3 weeks from today. This week, the State Division of Elections shows more than 120,000 Republicans statewide have already turned in vote-by-mail ballots. A little less, 100,000 Democrats and 40,000 unaffiliated Floridians have also voted already. Early voting begins next week, Monday, in several Florida counties, and by next weekend across the state as well.
The ballots have to be received by our office by election night, August 28th. That's 7 p.m., August 28th. If you do have a vote-by-mail ballot and you want to drop it off at one of our early voting sites, that's a possibility. You can certainly do that. You cannot bring them to the polling place, though, and drop them off.
So far, the highest number of vote-by-mail ballots have been turned in by voters in Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Lee counties.
Well, it is never too early to start thinking about retirement, especially where you want to live out your golden years. According to a new survey, traditional choices may not be the best options for retirees. Mary Maloney has a closer look in today's Consumer Watch.
Trading warm beaches for chilly plains. According to a new Bankrate survey, that's what more and more people are doing when they retire.
What we really wanted to look at was essentially the factors that make retirement locations either attractive or not so much.
Although Florida has traditionally been a popular destination for retirees, it did not top the list of this year's best places to retire. That honor goes to South Dakota.
It might surprise people that South Dakota comes out on top of the list.
The survey looked at 7 factors, including cost of living, weather, and health care quality.
That includes the availability of health care because as we all get older, one way or the other, we're going to need health care.
The Mount Rushmore state is followed by other cold weather locations, Utah, Idaho, and New Hampshire. The Sunshine State barely cracked the top 5.
Where Florida gets dinged is, broadly speaking, the quality of health care. Its health care system broadly is not regarded as being terribly good.
New York checked in as the worst place to retire.
If you're an expensive state, you're not going to be a very good place to retire.
The survey found more retirees are prioritizing health care over warmer temperatures.
If you're not able to make your dollars go farther, the weather is sort of irrelevant.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
So it was New Mexico, Maryland, Louisiana, Arkansas, and California. They round out the bottom of that list.
NBA star LeBron James will produce a mini-series for Showtime called Shut Up and Dribble. The 3-part series will be on the changing role of athletes in the current political environment. It'll trace the modern history of the league and its players, starting with the 1976 merger of the American Basketball Association and the NBA. The series title, Shut Up and Dribble, came from a comment that Fox News host Laura Ingraham made about James earlier this year. After hearing him talk about politics, the series will debut in October. Should be interesting.
Yeah, very much so. LeBron James doing a lot of good things out there.
Still ahead, a video that's making its rounds on social media. Why a Walmart worker is being praised The act of kindness she did for a total stranger, she says, was being mistreated.
And Beyonce is making headlines this week. Why her Vogue cover is actually making history. But first,
5:39 right now. A peek outside our studios shows still dark out there, but Josh promises us it's going to change. He says, in fact, he went on a limb and said the sun will come up at some point this morning. He is bold that way. What do you have for us, Josh?
Let there be light. Yes, the sun will rise. I guarantee that. As far as our temperatures around the Suncoast right now, mid to upper 70s at this hour. Looking pretty comfortable. Our radars, for the most part, pretty quiet. We have a few showers in the Gulf of Mexico, but those are well offshore. And right now, we're looking at quiet conditions around the Suncoast. That changes, though, later on this afternoon. The heating of the day, the sea breeze convergence, and temperatures will climb into the low 90s today. And then, of course, we're going to have those showers and storms track towards the coast later on this afternoon, early this evening. I'll have more on this and your 7-day outlook when I return.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
How do you open tough jar lids? Do you try this one? Or this one? Or how about this one?
Honey?
This is the future. Shouldn't there be a robot for this by now? There is. Introducing RoboTwist, the robotic jar opener that easily twists off even the toughest lids. Just set it down, press the button, and watch it work. First, the RoboStrong vise locks down tight. Then the powerful twisting action unscrews the lid. RoboTwist is yours for the special introductory price of just $19.99. That's right, the robotic jar opener that easily twists off even the toughest lids, all for just $19.99. Whether the jar is big or small, RoboTwist can open them all. Supplies are limited, so don't delay. Here's how to get yours today.
Call 1-800-347-1073. That's 1-800-347-1073. Or order online at buyrobotwist.com.
Planning a Carnival Fantasy Cruise out of Mobile? Then check out the park and cruise packages at the luxurious Battle House and Renaissance Riverview Plaza hotels. Stay at the Battle House for $169 per night or the Riverview Plaza for just $149 per night and leave your car for the duration of your cruise. Includes transportation to and from the cruise terminal. If you're cruising out of Mobile, come stay with us. Call 1-800-MARRIOTT or visit Marriott.com now.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Hey, good morning. I'm meteorologist Josh Donen for John Scalzi on this Tuesday. We're looking at a radar right now. A few showers and even some thunderstorms out here well offshore in the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico, but on land, nothing to speak of on this Tuesday morning. That changes, though, later on this afternoon, just like yesterday with those afternoon storms tracking towards the coast. Right now it's 77 degrees, easterly wind at 6 miles per hour, humidity at 94%. No, there's still flood warnings issued for the Peace River at Arcadia and the Myakka River at Myakka River State Park. These things can go on for days. Any more rain in those areas, not a good thing, but I think today our rain coverage is going to be more sporadic, scattered in nature, and won't last very long. As far as if you're flying out of SRQ Airport going to Atlanta, LaGuardia, O'Hare, or Charlotte, no issues with any delays this morning. All right, we have dry air that's still on top of the peninsula, and that's going to limit the shower activity for today, but same song and dance. For the last couple of days now, we have an area of high pressure, actually 3 areas of high pressure now, but the general flow is from the northeast to the east around these areas of high pressure. So when the sea breeze gets going this afternoon, it won't be able to make it all the way inland as it's fighting that easterly flow around the area of high pressure. So that's why the convergence is going to be very close to the coastline, and thus these showers and storms will start to form with the heating of the day and then blow westward. You can see this on the Futurecast, what happens around 5:30 in the afternoon. We could get a good dousing of rain here, some lightning strikes, and then things will be short-lived because of the dry air. These storms just won't be able to maintain themselves. Of course, the sun will set, and then the storms will lose their energy. Let's talk about the tropics right now. Really not a lot going on, though the National Hurricane Center has this little flare up here, about a 50% chance of developing into something, but it's traveling into the northern Atlantic waters where it's cooler, and other than shipping interest, it's not really doing anything. Actually, I have 2 hurricanes now in the Pacific Ocean, Hurricane John and Hurricane Hector. Hector is one we're going to talk about here because this is a Category 4 storm. Not going to affect us, obviously, but just out of interest, it is tracking close to Hawaii, has sustained winds of 145 miles per hour, so this could become a big story over the next few days. And of course, the front right part of these storms are the most powerful, and where's Hawaii? Just to the north of this. So the front right part of Hector could clip Hawaii pretty good. So we'll be watching that just out of interest. Not a good situation for those folks there, but I'm sure the surfers are loving it. Easterly winds at 10 knots, becoming west in the afternoon, about 5 knots for the boaters. Sea is 1 to 2 feet with a light chop in the bay. Temperature today, just like yesterday, will top out at 93. Yesterday's high was 94, and our average is 90 at this time of the year. So we're going to be just above average for today. Here's your forecast. Rain chance lessens on Thursday and Friday, and then you see kind of increase on Saturday and Sunday. Actually, what's going to happen is the wind shift is going to change because the area of high pressure that's bringing us the easterly wind component now, it's going to slip southward. That return flow around it will be coming in from the southwest, and most of these storms will trigger in the morning hours along the coast and then reignite inland in the afternoon. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Josh. Let's take a look outside and check out that first alert traffic. Starting off in Manatee County, we do have one spot to tell you about right there. Up at the very top of your screen, 41, there's a lane blocked right there at Bayshore Road. Again, 41, there's a lane blocked at the bypass to Bayshore Road in Manatee County. Then in Sarasota County, those roads are not looking too bad so far just yet. Even that spot right there on Clark that we've been watching, that's all cleared up now. Heading a little bit farther south, 75 and 41 are also both running pretty smoothly this morning so far. It is 5:47, and that is your first alert traffic.
President Trump may lose his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The West Hollywood City Council voted last night to ask the Chamber of Commerce to remove it. The president received his star back in 2007 for his work producing the Miss America pageant before he became a star of The Apprentice. But the past couple of years, vandals have damaged the sidewalk logo, last month by a guy named Austin Clay. Here he is.
It's certain that other people will vandalize the star. I think that violence will continue around the star, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's so important to get it removed.
Well, supporters say it should be repaired and remain on the sidewalk. That guy you just saw, Clay, was charged with 1 felony count for damaging the star. He could face up to 3 years behind bars.
Well, if you're in need of a good story this morning, listen up. A Michigan woman was recently denied a manicure at a Walmart nail salon. The employees told the woman that due to her medical condition, she has cerebral palsy, the manicurist couldn't paint her nails because her hands were too shaky. Well, that's when a Good Samaritan stepped in. A nearby Walmart employee stepped in to help. Ann Perret has a story.
I was like making sandwiches and I was watching her and I was like, Tasia Smith captured this photo that's since gone viral. Walmart cashier Ebony Harris skipping her break to paint customer Angela Peters' nails at the Subway inside the store.
Ebony deserved all the appreciation she could get.
Ebony says she watched the nail salon located just a few feet over refuse to do Angela's nails and decided to do something about it.
I just wanted to make her day special. I didn't really want her day to be ruined. That's why I did it. And plus she's a sweetie.
Together, the two picked out some polish and posted up at the Subway for a manicure.
And, she moved her hands a little bit and she kept saying she was sorry. And I told her, don't say that. I said, you're fine.
A simple act of patience and kindness that's still making Angela smile.
I thought that was so nice of her. And I already felt comfortable with her. Because like I said, I shopped in Walmart a lot.
We're not trying to bash the nail salon. We're not trying to make them lose customers, make them look bad, but maybe spread awareness that no matter the person, who they are, what color they are, disability, whatever, they're people too. She wants to look pretty, and so why can't she?
Sitting next to her new friend at her store, Angela is grateful not only for Ebony's help, but also a beautiful manicure.
I'm like, wow, these are amazing.
I told her she's a blessing to us, to anybody, not just me. She makes me look at life and appreciate it much more than, what I have been.
Not crying.
Wow.
Such a great story. Now, the three plan to continue their friendship. They've already scheduled a dinner at Angela's favorite restaurant. Good for her.
Oh, I love that
More
story.
stories like these.
Beyonce once again setting a precedent. She was reportedly given complete control of her new Vogue photo shoot. That wasn't the deal, though. One of the decisions she made was to hire a 23-year-old Tyler Mitchell to take the iconic cover photo, making Beyonce's issue the first to be shot by a black photographer. The article talks about a variety of topics, including pregnancy, body acceptance, and her legacy.
And what a big one that is these days.
Yes.
My goodness, doing a lot of good things.
All right, 5:51 right now. We'll have the day's top news headlines. One last check of the forecast after this.
Judy here, I think hospice was a tremendous source of support for her.
Absolutely. With Jennifer and Kimberly and Liza's constant contact with us, coming in, just knowing that there was someone with knowledge there to back us up, to answer our questions, it made a world of difference.
It's hard to see when you're outside at night. It's time for the Atomic Beam Sunblast, the new solar-powered light that's super bright. Atomic Beam Sunblast lets you add a light anywhere, and the atomic solar panels charge the built-in lithium-ion battery quickly. Then the 180-degree motion sensor turns on the light when you get near and automatically turns off when you disappear. Look, here's a best-selling outdoor solar light, and here's the super bright Atomic Beam Sunblast. Get the super bright Atomic Beam Sunblast for only $19.99. But wait, call right now and you can double your order and get a second Sunblast, plus our best-selling Atomic Beam Flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. That's 2 Atomic Beam Sunblasts and the Atomic Beam Flashlight. Call now.
Call 1-800-431-6640. That's 1-800-431-6640. Or visit mysunblast.com. So call 1-800-431-6640. Order now.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery?
Sure.
We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
Welcome back. It is 5:54, and here are the headlines that we're following for you this morning.
With less than a week before the start of school, Manatee County has suspended Deputy Superintendent Ron Serrana. The board chair said the district is investigating payment processing in a new internal district software program.
Plus, a reminder, with school back in session next week, so are those school zones. So slow down, peoples. The morning school zones start around 7 o'clock, and the afternoon school zones start around 2:45.
Red tide algae bloom that hit Sarasota County last week now appears to have moved north into Manatee County. Dead fish have turned up along the Gulf and even in Sarasota Bay around the Bradenton Beach Historic Pier.
Coming up in the next hour, with the start of the new school year just around the bend, we're going to tell you the new guidelines for free and reduced meals for students. Now also, one of those wildfires in California just became the largest in state history. We'll have the latest on those as well.
One last peek at the forecast this hour from Josh Stone.
All right, Ray and Stephanie, it's going to be another warm one as temperatures climb into the low 90s. And then, as you can see, we're starting off the day with sunshine, and then a few clouds start to develop with the heating of the day, and then those afternoon showers and storms will get going and then track towards the coast.
All right, thanks. We've got team coverage all this week. We've got Jackie Kelly and also Marla Spence covering Sarasota and Manatee, respectively. And we'll hear from them both in a few minutes here.
Absolutely. We are doing a big back-to-school week, everything that you need to know to get ready for the new school year as well.
All right. All that and the rest of the day's news and more of Josh's forecast coming up next hour on Good Morning Suncoast. We'll see you then.